you know, like I said, what do you guys feel? How do you guys feel moving forward and stuff like that?
Again, it's such a long ball game now.
Yeah.
You know, none of it is not going anywhere. You know, like I said, we're in it. You know, the dust hasn't settled, and I think it's got to be a lot of patience and just managing expectations.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, same.
Well, you have to be.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
You know, I still have delusions of directing $100 million films. Like it's still in my mind. Like I think I can pull it off. Yeah, you got to be. Yeah,
You know, that's why we're you know, disrupting.
Yeah.
I hate that word. It sounds Brian, but that's why we're doing what we're doing with Yao. It's like we want to be a part of the change. You know, and if we're not going to do it, somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's we have to provide a voice, you know, for not just filmmakers, but for viewers, you know, to have a place where they know it's highly curated, you know, real stories, good stories that you've never seen before.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
So there's you know, like I said, I like the fact that you guys do with Yao is like, there's a standard.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be some kid out, like some shitty film school project that gets thrown out, like stuff that we made. It was like,
there's enough of that out there.
Exactly. Like, we'll just take anything. It's like, well, no, like if there's a talented kid that did do something, you're like, all right, well, here, here's, at least people's eyes can get on it. Maybe they'll find, you know.
Well, the cool thing about Yao TV is that it's community based and driven. Like there's social aspects to the app that are coming in beta in June, which are, you know, we'll talk a little bit about them, but you know, for instance, like you think of, I keep going back to the Spotify thing, you know, where you can create a playlist and that playlist might rock, you know, because people want to go listen to it at the gym, and now you know, people are sharing, and now you're, you know, editing a bunch of different playlists, and you know, we're doing that with watch lists, you know, kind of like Letterboxd, but on the platform itself, you know, so you can join Yao TV, create your profile, choose to make that profile public or not, and then, you know, create or share or collaborate with different filmmakers or viewers or both, you know. So that's kind of cool. Very different.
So no, I dig it. So it's almost like the social aspect of like, definitely I won't give them any ideas, but you know what I mean?
No,
like,
it's not their it's not their
it's not their well, they got way too many people running. I mean, I think that would be a chaos. If you like looking through and it's just comments.
We're trying to create a community, you know, or at least give an outlet, you know, to the community.
Exactly.
Because it's just,
well, I think that's great, because then if there's somebody that's talented, somebody can then, sorry for freezing you out.
Every once in a while, I just gotta get it out.
There's like, if there's somebody that's talented, you can see that on your platform. And maybe there is a Hollywood producer's like, we just need some fucking new people.
That's right.
We just need some kid we're gonna pay $5 million to direct something or produce or to, you know, a producing team. They're like, oh, they're part of that team.
Yeah, we're really focused on shorts right now.
Yeah, which, by the way, it's still, I think it's a great concept. I mean, I think at one point there was where like guys would write their scripts, or they would shoot that short and then send it with, you know, do the teaser trailer or do like a, you know, I heard it doesn't work as much as these days, but I'm like, well, I still think that's
it's still being able to showcase.
Showcase.
You know, people do it for multiple different reasons, whether that's raising money or just you know, adding stuff to your reel.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like, why not have a platform beside Vimeo or YouTube, which is just they're amazing and incredible, but I mean, it's flooded with people, right? It's so saturated. Yeah. For us, it's like, when you come here, you know that you're going to find something good. Yeah. If it's a short, it can be monetized, right? So like whether it's ad based, I mean, we're not going to break up the short in the middle of the short. It's a short film, you know, so we'll have 1 or 2 ads before that. That filmmaker is going to make money on that short, you know, which is like, usually they just, they sit somewhere. Sit and they're free, and, you know, it might serve a purpose, it might not, but a lot of time and money and talent, you know, is spent on these shorts, and they should be, you know, monetizing it. Yeah. So we're giving them an outlet for that. You as a filmmaker can come and submit to create your own channel, you know, so like this podcast could be on Yao TV, and you can monetize it in a totally different way. You can live stream, you can restream your lives. You know, if you're streaming on YouTube, and people are in your chat and they donate to you and things like that. Well, you can do the same thing on Yao at the same time and make 2 different streams of revenue. Yeah. Like, that's so cool. Yeah. And then of course we're creating fast channels. So you as a filmmaker, if you have, or a distributor, independent distributor, can put your entire library on there, or just have it flowing through a fast channel, and creating revenue that way. So lots of different ways to make money on these films. It's very exciting.
That's awesome. Well, I like to say, I dig that because I think it does now. I know what Yao was doing more, like we talked before. I'm like seeing hearing all those different aspects does make it separate from why am I going to Yao, or Yao.tv or Yao TV, because I think that is something that's different because the filmmakers need somewhere they can get their stuff shown to people that do want to watch that, or building a channel that's like, oh man, they got some real shit. Have you guys talked to you've been in the community or connected within the producing realm? Be like, hey, we're starting this. Maybe you guys should wink, wink, nod, nod, and start checking out these producers in Hollywood or other companies. To just be like, hey, you guys need some talent. Check out our, it's not just a streaming service. These are curated filmmakers.
Yeah, it could be it's a tool as well.
The world, you can come here. And then on your guys' aspect, I guess market wise, you guys still going to launch, you're still going to the beta, but like going to film schools or going to these communities, be like, check it out. Here's our marketing. You want to maybe get seen by, that's the pitch, but like, yeah, maybe you will get seen by somebody to move forward. But instead of putting it on YouTube where chances of you running across a Hollywood producer on YouTube is almost slim to none. But over here, you guys are trying to push that more.
Yeah, it could be a great tool, for professionals like,
because like you guys be like, that guy's great. Like let's lock him on. I mean, you hit it right. I'm so cold, dude. I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I'm like, this is the warmest. When I get cold down here, it's bad.
Dude, I just came from 85-degree weather, so I mean, you hit it right on the head, and it could be a very useful tool, for industry professionals. We're kind of looking at a different, portal, for those reasons.
Because that excites me about it. Because I'm someone that's like trying to come up. Like, okay, where can I use YouTube for this into the podcast space. Okay, we know this, but me that's always in the front of my mind is film. How do I direct my first film? But if there's a platform, it's like, no, this can get you in front of people.
Yes.
Maybe you put a reel up, like I don't, like I mostly do, like even with Vet TV or corporate stuff. But if there's a few things that are like, hey, this can live here, or even my reel can live there with a potential for someone to see it, like knowing that's what the platform, it's not everything, but it's a significant chunk of that platform. That's a big deal for people in our industry. It's like a calling card, but you go to one place and if it's like, it's not as big as others, but man, if that's it's just a Rolodex of talented, you can network, and it's you can have visual effects artists there too, or you can, it's not a Fiverr, but it's a check out these reels. I can go to one place and try to find people with talent. Even if they're not the best shooter, but they can, goddamn, they can render effects on their own with like, well, I don't need a team. I need one guy that's talented for 4 months. That's a big deal, especially within the democratized digital realm that we live in,
exactly.
Especially working with like the Unreal Engine, and stuff like that, or just even
working with the Unreal Engine.
The Unreal Engine, that's what I'm. My buddy is super talented, and it's just like, dude, proof of concepts that he could pull off is insane. Well, insane,
and that everything's going into the AI world too, so that's a whole other conversation. But
you guys, how does you guys in that realm? How does it help you guys? How has AI helped you? How is it? Do you even feel? I don't feel it as a disadvantage. I don't.
I mean, it's a tool.
It's a tool. I always feel like people like freaking out.
Sadly, people try to use it as a replacement.
It's not.
It's like, but getting back to a bean counter who's never made anything, they're sitting in an office going, well, let's just have AI do it. And it's like, well, that doesn't work that way.
Exactly. I know they've gotten a lot better, but it's, for me, it's like, I think it gives the tool to the filmmaker of like, I don't have any money, but I can go on AI and create a few shots. And then, but again, you can't tweet. I mean, I've been on there. I mean, I remember it was a year or two ago now. So it was a disaster when I'd be like, and you're like, okay. And now it's getting better, but like, and then you start looking at these prompts, you're like, okay, like if you're trying to get real specific, you might, you know, it's
the stuff available to the public is very different than the things that, you know, Hollywood is using.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hollywood has some access to, I think it was the ChatGPT one for like a year or two.
Sora.
They would, Sora, they wouldn't release it. They're like, well, we're still testing it. And I'm like, oh, you don't want us to have it, essentially. Like,
well, now they're so smart in the way that they release that, and just having the public continue to prompt and you know, let it learn, you know, through I don't know, probably, you know, tens and probably hundreds of millions of people now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just moving so fast. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I think people want genuine stuff. They don't want to see AI creatures. There's a market for it, you know, definitely. And I think, you know, ultimately, you know, people want, you know, real stories created by humans that they can relate to.
Exactly.
You know?
And we can circle that now if you guys want to talk about that, like story in the industry now.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of that's
I think it's lazy.
Yeah, it's lazy. Yeah, like you feel like it's like the bottom of the barrel talent, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw this really weird push, you know, to just involve people because of, you know, certain things, you know, and it's like, man, like, can we just go back to like being good at something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, and I think that we are, you know, ultimately, you know, we saw a huge, you know, trend down in a lot of that stuff, you know, coming up now. But, you know, I think people are lazy. They're using, you know, AI. No one has enough time in the day to do anything. But, you know, as a creative, you know, you really have to, you know, set that time aside and put the fucking work into it.
Exactly.
You know? And I think people just, you know, they want to take the shortcut. And it's a whole different conversation with, you know, studios and things like that. But
I mean, there's thousands of scripts that are original and amazing. They're just sitting, you know, on shelves, which is really sad. And it goes back to, again, that risk, you know, that is the magic of Hollywood. And for whatever reason, the risk isn't worth the reward because there's too many, you know, whatever's going on. But people want original stuff, you know, and AI is going to give you what it knows. Yeah. It's just going to give it to you a different way. It's not original. It's not new. It's just like a, you know, a rebranding of what
exists. Yeah.
So it's just it gets back to, you know, finding those incredible original stories. But all that stuff's out there. You know, hopefully as you know, it finds its way back